Hello friends, welcome back to my channel Plant Pathology Pathshala. This is Jhumishree Meher and we are discussing the plant virology series. In this video, we will discuss about nematode transmission of plant viruses. This is the very important topic for any type of competitive exam. Definitely you will get one question from this. Either the about the nematode transmission, the characteristic as well as from the example. So you have to read this. So without further delay, let's start the video. So nematode transmission of plant virus. The nematode as a vector for plant virus was first discovered by the scientists Hewitt-Ruski and Goheen in 1958. Remember both the scientist name as well as the year. You can just remember Hewitt et al. 1958. So he proved that the virus can be transmitted by nematode or virus can be spread by nematode. So which virus he identified? That is the Grapevine fanleaf virus GFLV, and the vector he reported for the first time that is the nematode is Xiphinema index. So the first nematode reported as a vector for plant virus grapevine fanleaf virus is Xiphinema index. This is a very important question. Okay, remember this. Remember the scientist name as well as the first virus that was reported to transmitted by nematode and the first nematode that is acting as plant virus reported. Okay. Then key facts about the nematode transmission is the transmission is soil borne, because as you all know that nematode present in soil only. So the transmission is soil borne, and mostly the ectoparasitic nematodes act as vector for plant viruses. See, the nematode transmit the virus by its feeding apparatus, that is a stylet. Okay, so mostly the nematode, actually three types are there: ectoparasitic, endoparasitic and ectoendoparasitic. Because the virus is in the soil, it is soil borne virus, so the nematode must be present in soil only. If it is a endoparasitic nematode, means it will be reside inside the plant, then how it will transmit the virus from one plant to another? Only ectoparasitic nematode, that's why act as vector for plant viruses. And this virus actually carried externally in the feeding apparatus, that is the stylet of the nematode. This is brief about the nematode transmission history and little brief. Next, about the characteristics of the nematode transmission. So I have already told the virus transmitted by nematode are present in the stylet or oesophagus or the feeding apparatus only. No multiplication is there. Virus, actually due to some incompatibility, this virus can't multiply inside the nematode vector. Then it requires long acquisition feeding period, that is hours to day. Few hours to few days it may take to acquire the particular virus from the infected plant. Then about the retention. So virus actually retain for months or throughout the life of the virus, throughout the life of the nematode, means virus is persistent in nature. Once the nematode acquired the particular virus, it will become viruliferous throughout its life. Okay, so it is persistent in nature. So this is about the characteristic of nematode transmission. It is ectophytically just present superficially over the stylet or oesophagus no further multiplication of virus inside the nematode. It requires a long acquisition feeding period, that is few hours to days, to acquire the particular virus from the infected plant, and virus remain inside the nematode for months or throughout the nematode life. So it is showing the persistent transmission. Then about the nematode transmission, some additional feature. So we have already told it is showing the persistent transmission, but the virus can't pass through the eggs. So no trans-ovarial transmission is there. Okay. And virus is not transmitted after molting also. Means this no trans-ovarial, and another term is transstadial. Transstadial means virus can transmit to virus will remain after molting also. So in case of nematode, no trans-ovarial as well no transstadial transmission is there. No trans-ovarial means it will not pass to the egg, and no transstadial means after molting the nematode will not remain viruliferous, or it will lose the virus because it's just ectophytically present over there. Then transmission occur only while feeding the healthy plants. Definitely. Now when the nematode infect or feed over a infected plant, and then it will move, and generally migratory ectoparasitic nematode when feed over a infected plant, then it reinfect a healthy plant. That time only it can transmit the virus. Then management. See, for the any virus management, most important practice is use of virus free material, planting material. This is the most important. And second important is the management of the vector. Here we are discussing the nematode as a vector. So whatever practices we will adopt to manage the virus, that should manage the nematode, because the nematode is only the agent that is spreading the virus. So if we restrict the nematode, then definitely the virus spread will be restricted. So this crop rotation, soil solarization, nematicide application, and INM, integrated nematode management, this practices for the vector management, for the nematode vector management. Okay. And use of virus free material, planting material, for reduction of virus inoculum. Okay, so remember this point. For nematode transmitting virus, no trans-ovarial transmission, no transstadial transmission, and the transmission is persistent in nature but non-propagative. Virus will not multiply inside the nematode vector. And for management, we have to check the nematode vector by using the crop rotation, solarization, nematicide application, or by the help of integrated nematode management practices, and by using virus-free planting material. Next, the most important about the nematodes, that is transmitting the viruses, plant viruses. So two family of nematode are there, that is transmitting the viruses, that is the Longidoridae and the Trichodoridae. So the Longidoridae family nematodes are called as dagger nematodes. Remember the common name also. Okay, it's ectoparasitic nematode, and the viruses that are transmitted by this nematode is called as Nepovirus. Nepovirus means nematode transmitting polyhedral virus. The shape of the virus transmitted by the Longidoridae family are spherical in nature. Okay, that's why they are called as Nepovirus vectors. Okay, and the major examples or major genera under the Longidoridae family that are reported to transmit The Nepoviruses are the most important, Xiphinema and Longidorus. Remember the genera also. And we have already discussed the first nematode vector reported was Xiphinema index, that was reported by Hewitt et al. 1958 for transmitting the Grapevine fanleaf virus. This virus, okay. Remember both. This is very important. And other examples of Nepoviruses are that are transmitted by Longidoridae family are raspberry ring spot and tobacco ring spot virus. Okay. So other characteristic will be same only. The transmission will be the persistent in nature, non-circulative and non-propagative in nature. Okay. No multiplication will be there, and virus retained in the stylet only. No transstadial transmission as well as no transovarial transmission of the virus. Next, about the second major family, Trichodoridae. So Trichodoridae family nematodes are also known as stubby root nematode. It is also ectoparasitic in nature, and the virus transmitted by Trichodoridae family nematodes are called as Tobravirus, or it is also known as Nepovirus, Netu, Nepovirus, nematode transmitting tubular virus. These are tubular rod-shaped virus. Okay. So the major genera of under the Trichodoridae family that are reported to transmit the plant viruses are Trichodorus and Paratrichodorus. And the major examples of Tobraviruses that are transmitted by Trichodoridae family of nematode are tobacco rattle virus and P. early browning virus. So remember the examples. This is very important. And other characteristics will remain same. No multiplication, persistent nature, no transovarial transmission as well as no transstadial transmission. So for quick revision, remember these two tables are very important. Longidoridae and Trichodoridae. The major genera are Xiphinema, Longidorus for Longidoridae family, and Trichodoridae family includes the Trichodorus and Paratrichodorus. Viruses transmitted by this Longidoridae family are Nepovirus, and Trichodoridae nematode transmit the Tobravirus as well as Nepovirus. An example you have to remember, okay, both case the type of transmission is persistent, non-circulative or non-propagative. No multiplication is there. Location of viruses, stylet. Then transovarial transmission, absent. Transstadial transmission, absent. Okay. Each and every points are very important. You have to remember all this. Okay. So this is about the nematode transmitting plant viruses. In the next class, we will discuss about fungus transmission of plant viruses. So if you have any doubt, please let me know in the comment section. Thank you for watching this video.